Hello, welcome to Z Marie Design. Let me show you some alternative ways to hang your quilt. So this is the back of my quilt and this is the top. So I'm going to put the hanger toward the top of the quilt. A lot of times you'll see quilters, they'll have a quilt hanging sleeve with a dowel rod on it for hanging. But I'm going to be using this alien tape. It's a double-sided tape and it holds up to about 60 pounds. And I will leave a link in the description to show you a better example of how this tape can be used and how much it holds. So one side, when you peel it off the roll is sticky, and the other side has the piece of plastic on it. So toward the top of my quilt on the back side is where I'm going to put a strip of the alien tape. And I just divide my quilt into 3 sections. I fold it to divide it into 3 sections. And I start by putting a strip in the middle and then a strip on each of the ends of the quilt. And I cut off somewhere between 4 to 6 inches. And then I adhere it to the back of the quilt. So I'm going to measure off about 6 inches of this tape. And I just peel it off and it cuts very easily. I just cut it using my utility scissors. And then you see how much it holds? It can just stick to my scissors and it holds my scissors. And then I'm going to press it to the back of my quilt. I'm going to start right at the edge of the binding. And I put it right underneath the binding and I press it in place, pressing it really, really well. And I'm only pressing it this hard is so that it can get down into the fibers of the fabric. And I make sure to press it on the ends. And I've done this before for clients to hang their quilts on the wall, and it doesn't leave a residue on the wall and it peels off easily. So this is how I usually, when I'm presenting a quilt to a client, this is what I usually use to hang it. So once they're ready to hang it, they just peel off that little plastic part, and there's another double-sided sticky, and that's what they put against their wall. So I have one on each end, one in the middle. And once I put these on the ends, I lay my quilt flat and I usually put a stack of books on top. And I leave that stack of books on top of the tape for at least 24 hours. Now I also put that tape on the bottom of the quilt. I just put this one on vertically because I didn't want it to be obstructed by the quilt label, because I put it right underneath the binding, right next to the binding. So I have one in the middle, one on each side, pressed it in really well. Again, I'm going to lay this quilt out flat on the floor, and I'm going to put stacks of books on each of these pieces of tape and leave it for at least 24 hours. And once I've left it for 24 hours, it is adhered. Now here's another alternative you can use for hanging quilts, and that's the picture hangers from command strips. One piece of it goes to the quilt, the other piece goes onto the wall, and it's a Velcro. So when you put the Velcro together, it hangs the quilt, and each one holds about 16 pounds. And I usually put about 4 to 6 on each end, on the top and on the bottom of the quilt, to hang up the quilt. So that's an alternative to a quilt sleeve. So I hope you'll give this project a try, and thanks for watching.